Hi, my name is Amy Mazzi and I'm with Supreme Boats, and today I'm going to take the opportunity to tell you about a boat that may be your first and last wake surf solution. This is the S220 for 2025, and it is like going from the intro to wake surfing all the way to a master class. Let me tell you all about it. The 2025 Supreme S220 is a beautiful boat. Make no mistake, it is built to wake surf from the water level up. It also gives you a great rough water ride and an amazing wakeboard wake. But in the end, it is a beautiful boat. This particular boat is done in a core scheme. It's got the 2-lime gel coat, as you can see behind me, you can't miss it. And you've got a lot of choices, actually 10 different color choices on this big panel of gel coat. So this boat can be customized to what you want it to be. Also, the Sport Shield windshield behind me is made to go with the shape of this boat. It's also a wingless windshield, which allows you to reach out and catch yourself when you're coming into dock, or it gives you a better opportunity to speak to a fallen rider when you're swinging back around to pick them up. And it doesn't have you stand up to have to talk to that rider. To me, it's very convenient, but above all, it makes the look of this boat supreme. The Supreme S220 has as much as 4,400 pounds of ballast available in 6 different locations that are evenly distributed throughout the boat. This allows the Easy V hull, or the running surface, to be displaced evenly, which gives you a long surf wave and a very symmetrical wakeboard wake, which means it's the same side to side. The performance that this amount of ballast offers is unmatched. The Supreme S Series is available in the core gel coat scheme. I mentioned this earlier, there's 10 different standard choices for this main color. You also have 5 additional meadow flake choices, so you can really get crazy with the look of this boat. You also have the availability of the F Series tower. It always comes in black, but you've got some options that you can add to it, like racks, bimini, stereo system, you name it. And the Supreme S Series is considered an entry-level surf boat, but you know what? It's still customizable. We've talked about Supreme's performance, especially on the S220, 4,400 pounds of ballast available. That's amazing. We've talked about its style and its customization. What about convenience? Here we go. You've got 2 gas fills on this boat, one on either side. What that gives you is your tow vehicle can fill on either side, and you can pull up at the tank and you can fill your boat. It's as easy as that. This particular gas tank is 70 gallons. Sounds like a big tank, but you're not going to need to refill it often. This boat is also extremely fuel efficient. You've also got some other convenience items that you can see here in this frame. You've got the pull-up cleats, which allow you to tie to the dock easily. You've also got this Supreme decal. We call it a decal, but really it's a hard part. It's almost like a piece of metal, and it shines like a mirror. You've got the choice between a chrome version of this Supreme decal, a matte black version, and a white version. All of them are beautiful, and all of them will make you stand out supreme. The 2025 Supreme S220 is built on the Easy V hull. It basically takes you from easy to the zone in the same hull, meaning that it sets up easy whether you're wake surfing, wakeboarding, or just cruising across the lake, even on a rough day. And when you're ready to catch that next great trick, as much as 4,400 pounds of ballast in this boat displaces that Easy V hull and creates a mass of water. And then the quick surf system allows that mass of water to be ordered into a surf wave. And it does that by putting the plate down opposite the surf side, creating lift, and essentially exaggerating the displacement on the surf side. This creates the curl. Then you can switch it or transfer it from side to side in about 2 seconds at your dash. It's as easy as that. Whether you're regular or goofy, this is a supreme wave for you. As an option on the Supreme S220, you can get the Silent Stinger wake plate. And it's just like it sounds. It is a wake plate. It adjusts the running attitude of the boat, meaning that when you adjust it down, you can allow the nose of the boat to come down. When you bring that plate up, it allows the nose of the boat to come up. And that'll shape your wake differently, whether you're wakeboarding or your surf wave differently. It'll also allow you on a really rough day on the water to get the most aggressive part of the V underneath the bow, kind of cutting through the chop. That's one of the ways that you can get a really smooth, rough water ride. But the wake plate allows you that flexibility to change the running attitude of the boat. Now, the silent part of that name is what is really unique about the Silent Stinger wake plate. This silence is created by a baffle system that has forced water that tumbles through it with the exhaust from the engine and actually dampens the engine noise. What does that do for you? The benefit is it gives you a quiet ride on the inside of the boat, like inside voice quiet all day long. As we get up onto the S220, you start to realize this boat is really tall. It has a lot of depth to it, a lot of freeboard, but it also still has a lot of style. When I'm up on the swim step, the shape of the swim step itself is beautiful, but I've also got the shark fin colored gator step with the Supreme etched in it here, and it looks as good as it feels on your feet. It's really nice. And speaking of things that feel good, this seat is pretty awesome too. We can comfortably sit down and hang out back here and easily store our stuff. I can put my shoes away, nice slam latch to close that storage area, and I don't ever have to wear my shoes into the boat or on the upholstery, which always makes me feel better. I can also use that storage for wet items like rash guards or life vests, a rope, for instance, or maybe something that I don't want to get lost before I go on my next major surf run. And I can throw my glasses, my hat, that kind of stuff in that storage area as well. It's very accommodating. I've also got a walkover here where I can easily step up onto the back sun pad. And I've got a huge sun pad where we can lay out, hang out, and there can be multiples of us back here. While some of us are in the water swimming, the rest of us are just hanging out in comfort and luxury. So as I stepped down into the S220, I was reminded of the optional pylon. It kind of tucks itself away. It's a pull-up pylon, and this is a great spot to hook if you're going to do a ski run, a recreational ski run behind the boat, or you're going to hook up a tube. This is a great spot to hook the rope. And when you're not going to use it, you can put the pylon down, and it's got enough of the cushion bolsters surrounding it to keep you from stubbing a toe or from accidentally running into the pylon. This is an option on the S220, but it's definitely one that will help you both performance-wise, and then it'll hide itself away when you're not using it. As I sit down in the Supreme S220, I start to understand just how big this boat feels. Remember, it's a 22-foot boat and it's rated for 14 people, but I can easily see 13 of my closest friends in this lounge with me. It's that big and comforting. So along with 14 people comes 14 people's stuff in this boat. But luckily, underneath every one of these seats in the lounge, there's storage. And it's accessible via these hinged seats. So it's easy to get to, easy to put stuff away, so it's out of sight, out of mind. So the S220 has amazing customization available in this boat, and there's nowhere that is more obvious than the interior. The vinyl available on this S220 is amazing. So it comes standard with the all OTB scheme, which means the texture of the vinyl has this cool design to it. We call it the outside the box texture because it kind of looks like an open box. But what it gives you is some cooling. And even though you can get a darker color on this interior or a combination of several darker colors, the texture of the vinyl allows the heat to dissipate more quickly. So you'll get a darker vinyl that can be 10, 15 degrees cooler than a flat vinyl the same color. It gives you that type of relief. You also have the ability to get an optional OTB accent scheme, which means the OTB texture is only on the accent and the rest of the vinyl, the main and the base, are more of a flat texture. You also have 12 different color choices as far as the vinyl goes in this boat, so you can make this interior look exactly the way you want it to. Now that we've made ourselves comfortable in the S220 and we've customized it to our heart's content, we've put away all our gear in all of the cavernous storage, what more do we need? We need cup holders for our drinks, and boy do we have those. We've got a bunch of them in the side panel. We've got speakers that spill wet sounds into the interior. We've also got an S220 badge in the side panel. We've got everything we need to surf, wake, and ride Supreme. So the other opportunity for customization in the Supreme S220 is the flooring. Right now we've got shark fin gator step in this boat, and that's the darker gray color. And this happens to have the optional deck and riser kit. What does that mean? It means that the verticals beneath the seat bases are covered in gator step, as well as the floor, as well as the deck. Where that's important is when you're stepping into the boat, you've got a non-slip place to put your feet. But you can get this floor in this shark fin dark gray color. You can get it in a whiskey barrel, which is almost like a worn wood color, or you can get it in black. Any one of those choices will keep you sure-footed no matter where you are in the S220. The F-Series tower by Roswell is the tower that you will find on the S220. And this tower is not only beautiful because it really follows the lines of the S220, it's extremely strong and very functional. So the strength of it you'll hear in the fact that you won't hear any rattling, you won't see any shimmying, whether the boat is on the water or it's being towed behind a vehicle on the trailer. The tower is extremely strong. The other thing you have with the F-Series tower is the ability to option it. You can add a bimini to this tower. This is the Roswell bimini. And as you can see, in this 22-foot boat, it covers almost the entire lounge. The other cool part about this bimini is the fact that it's easy to put up and it's easy to take down. I can do it by myself in about 90 seconds. It's that simple. You've also got the opportunity to get racks on this tower. The racks that are on this one are also from Roswell. These are called mag swivel racks. Now these are wakeboard racks, so they're typically reserved for wakeboards. They've got a bungee system to hold them in place, but they swivel in so you don't have to reach out over the water and, you know, kind of kink your back to get the board in place. They're very easy to use and extremely functional, almost as functional as the F-Series tower itself. Even in a 22-foot boat, you need a swivel driver's seat, and the Supreme S220 has one, and it's very comfortable. It's a higher back seat, it's extremely supportive on the sides, but it gives me the opportunity to put my feet up on the observer seat. But if there is an observer with me in the boat, I can still just swivel around to talk to everybody else in the lounge, and it's really, really convenient. Or I can swivel right back around and pay attention to my driving. So the Omni dash for Supreme is about 7 inches diagonal, and it's perfect as far as the available visibility I have of all of the systems in the boat. I can toggle between all of those systems with this really easy to use 7-choice menu. I can see everything from my surf system, my optional navigation, my ballast levels, my stereo controls, and my rider profiles. And I can navigate between those menus as well as my settings menu in seconds. The text on this menu, the contrast that it offers is really easy for me to see, even in direct sun. And I appreciate that about the navigation on the Omni screen of Supreme. I also have some other cool stuff on this dash that allows me to keep my focus on the water in front of me, but always have access to the control I need. Like my bump switch that allows me to either deploy or rescind my wake plate. It's right here. So I can just with a couple fingertips move it it up, move it down. And remember, moving it up allows my bow to come up and my running attitude to change, or moving it down allows the bow to come down. So I really have that great level of control over the performance of the boat without having to take my eyes off the water. I also have the option of a clamping cell phone holder that charges as well. And this is really cool because my phone never has to be too far out of sight. It's not rolling around in a storage area or somewhere where I have to try to fumble around and dig it out. It's right here. I've always got access to it, and it's charging. The other thing I have is rocker switches. So these switches are very easily accessible on my right, but they are also simple to use. I can easily understand if they're on or off because they light up when they're on. And for me, that kind of visibility is really, really important when my focus should be elsewhere, not looking around to see, is that switch really on? Is it off? And it's really, really convenient for me. I also love the throttle location in the S220. It allows me to, even driving one-handed, to be comfortable and still have the ultimate control of my throttle. I've got everything I need in the dash of the S220, and ultimately, what I need is control. We've talked a lot about the driver's area and how much control you have from that seat in the boat, but the observer has a lot of control as well. Number one, the observer is in control of the biggest storage area in the boat, which is the OB storage. It is cavernous. You can put anything and everything in there. And you might be saying, but I don't want to load that up too much because then I'm going to have to dig through it to find my isolator switch for my batteries. You will not. You can put as much stuff in the OB storage as you want because our battery management system is in the glove box. And it's extremely accessible no matter how much of your gear you have shoved in the OB storage. So what you've got with our battery management system is a true isolator system. And what I mean by that is the two batteries, the house battery, which controls your stereo, your lights, those types of things, is one battery that can be turned on, and the other battery that cranks the engine, allows the engine to run, is separate and it can be turned off, or vice versa. So I can run off of one battery or the other, or I can tie them together with my automatic tie that's in the center, or I can even have it so it compensates only if it needs to. And in other words, if one of the batteries gets below a certain level of volts, 9 volts or below, it will start to sap energy from the other battery to keep it at the level it needs to be. So you've got all this versatility in a true isolator system that is accessible here. You don't have to get into your OB storage area to get to it. Also part of this system is a PDM breaker system, meaning that you can monitor the status of your PDMs, which are necessary to make your boat go and are involving several different systems throughout the boat. They're all accessible right here. So if you have to troubleshoot something, or you're talking to a tech and you want to go through something, you can access all of those PDMs right here in your glove box. You don't have to search throughout the boat to find them. You also have your wet sound stereo face mounted here, so the observer also has stereo controls. Imagine that. So the S220 can house as many as 14 people. That's a lot of people, but this is a big 22-foot boat. And some of those people may need to sit in the bow. How do they get there? Well, they walk right through to it. This is a walk-through open bow. And the great thing about the Supreme S220 at 22 feet, 102 inches wide, I can still have a really roomy walkthrough to get to the bow. Look at this. I don't have to shimmy through it. I can make it all the way. Oh, it's easy and it's comfortable. This lounge allows for a couple people to sit up here and be comfortable. We have access to our sound system speakers, our cup holders. We also have a smooth place to sit. And what I mean by that is in a lot of boats, the bow is the bumpiest spot to be. But in a Supreme, because of the Easy V hull and 20 degrees of dead rise, this thing is a smooth ride. I hope you've learned everything you need to know about the all-new 2025 Supreme S220. This boat is an amazing surf wave, it's an amazing wakeboard wake, and a great rough water ride. And it gives all of that to you without weighing down your budget. But if you don't believe me, you've got to go and visit your local Supreme Boats dealer, and they will prove it to you on the water.